Hey everyone, it's Amanda, Pineal Painting, Sarasota, Florida. Alright guys, so I'm back to do the install, and bear with me on these videos. I am just learning and I'm just playing with this camera and trying to get better at it, so hopefully I will improve. But yeah, so I didn't put in any of the tips for actually spraying the cabinets because I'm going to save that for another video. I have more cabinet projects coming up, and I'm going to try to put out a bunch of more videos on these to kind of like give people more, show more of the process and everything like that. But so basically I'm just going to touch a little bit on the install and a few of those little details. So, all right. Got the doors laid out here, or some of the drawer faces, and I figured out how to turn the more lights on today. So because the other video it was so dark in here, but yeah. So all right, I'm gonna get started. I already brought all the doors in, so I've got them all resting. I usually just try to put the smaller ones in first, and then I can put the taller ones in, and then they won't touch each other because they might stick. The air is on in here, so should be good. All right, let's get started. On the first day, when I do the uninstall, when I take everything apart, I can get everything prepped and I can get the primer on, because the primer is designed to dry fast so that you can work with it and you can sand it pretty quickly. So on the first day, after I take all the doors down and I prep everything, then I can get one coat of the primer on, I can sand it, and then I can get one coat of the finish on. Once I put a coat of the finish on, there isn't anything else I can do because it has to have at least like 4 hours to dry. Really needs like a good full day or two, you know, I would say, to go ahead and, I mean, if it's 4 hours, but I like to give it a day or so anyway, and it's 4 days before I come back to put the second coat on anyway, so it gets a good 4 days to really dry up and really harden. So when I leave on the first day, the only thing I've done is I've primed it and I've put one coat of finish on it. So basically, when I come back to do the install, which is today, it's Friday. I started it on Monday. I'm back on Friday. So now I only have one coat of finish on the boxes. So I need to go around and I need to put one more coat, emerald urethane enamel. And by the time I put a nice thin second coat on this, it will be, and then by the time I get the doors organized and get the, you know, start getting the hinges on and figuring out where everything goes and all that kind of, it's a big puzzle. So once I get, you know, that process started, by that time the boxes are dry enough to go ahead and start installing the doors. And the doors go on the hinges anyway, and there's a gap, so they're really not going to touch. It's dry enough even if it does. It doesn't matter. But at the end, after I put the doors on, I go around and I'll put all these, I'll get brand new bumpers, door bumpers. These are really good. I like the felt ones. They have white, they have brown. I think they even have gray now. I have to buy them on the internet all the time because the store never has them. So I have to buy like a whole bunch of them and stock up, and then I can have them for the cabinet projects. So at the end, I'll go around and I'll put all these cabinet bumpers on, and that, you know, helps. It serves a couple purposes. It keeps the cabinets from banging into each other, but it also helps keep them a little bit quiet. Most people have the soft close hinges on their doors anyway, on their cabinets, but it still can help, because right at the end when the door closes, it makes a little bump. So these are good. I'll put these on at the end. That's another little thing that I do. So I got lights on today. Look, I found another light switch, so I can get up underneath here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my paint set up Same thing. These are the blue ones I was telling you about. These are the rollies that I use. Roller naps. They're like mini roller naps, mini rollers, and they're 4-inch naps, and these are 3/16. They come in a 2-pack. I get them from Sherwin-Williams, but you can get them probably anywhere. They're just a fine finish mini roller. Sometimes they call them like a zip. What do they call them? A zip roller, or I don't know. There's a couple different names for them, but I always call it mini roller. So this is the mini roller. It's just a little roller handle. And something that I do, here's a tip. So when I break open a brand new rolly nappy like this, they're nice and furry. Of course I got my hair on it now. But so when I open a new one of these, before I use it, it's a good idea to take some tape and wrap it with tape and then pull the tape off of it, because as soon as you get these wet and start rolling with them, they have fibers on them that will start, coming up, and then it might leave little fibers and stuff on your, surface, whatever you're trying to roll. You don't want that, because then you'll be like, you're not going to get a smooth surface, and you'll have to be picking all that stuff off of there. You don't want to be picking stuff out of your paint all day. So this is what I'll do. You just want to make sure it has a nice, good spin to it. Sometimes if you put it on there and it won't spin, like you put it on the thing and it won't spin. Sometimes you just have to bring it back a little bit, give it a little bit more space on the elbow here. Because sometimes it gets jammed. So, and then of course, if you're using like a little bit of I need to clean this, I can take my razor knife and clean this paint off of here, but off of this elbow here, but this will be okay for today. I'm just going to do one quick thin little finish coat on here and we'll be done with that. So this is what I'm going to use with the emerald urethane enamel and my 2-inch sash. Okay, so before I put the final finish coat on these boxes, I'm going to go through with one of these little razor blades, and I'm going to just make sure that all the surfaces of the boxes are free from anything that might be on them. Just double check, make sure everything's ready for the final coat. If I need to run, if I need to run a little bit of sandpaper, or, if there's a couple of spots that need any attention, then I'll be able to do that. Okay, so I went over it with a razor blade, double checked everything, and found a couple spots of concern. So I'm going to take care of that with sanding paper. But for the most part, when I do the final sand before I put the finished coat on, I just use one of these, like a little sanding block, but it's just barely even a sandpaper. And this is all really worn out. So it's a nice worn out piece that really isn't abrasive, because I don't want to scratch it, because I already have one layer of the finished paint on there. And so if I go at it with an abrasive sandpaper, then it will leave a scratch. I made that mistake before, like the very first cabinet job I ever did, I made that mistake. So on the final sand before the final coat, I just use one of these, and it's hardly anything at all. Sanding block. This is the type that's a thin one with the sponge on the back, and it's just barely anything, but it's enough. It's enough to go over it one last time. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I have a spot here on the cabinet. You can see right here, I had a failure with the primer here. So when I was going over it with the razor blade, now it's even more apparent now. So this must have been a really dirty spot that just for some reason didn't really get cleaned good enough or something. Something happened here. So I'm going to get a sandpaper and I'm going to sand this area right here, and that will take care of it, and then I'll go ahead and put more paint on it. But This is what I'm talking about when I say when you're sanding and when you're doing the razor blade. This is when you're gonna find stuff like this. You want to find it now. You don't want it to happen later. So just go ahead and take it off with the razor blade, and then just go ahead and apply more paint. I'm gonna sand it first too. Okay, this color is creamy. Sherwin-Williams 7012 creamy. I don't know if you can see it there. A little shiny. Creamy. So it's a white, but it's kind of like a beigey white, so it's not like a bright white, and we went with semi-gloss. Semi-gloss, I really recommend semi-gloss with the urethane, the emerald urethane enamel, because I found that with this product, the semi-gloss isn't really that much shinier than the satin. It's noticeable difference, but it's not like, it doesn't look like a high gloss or anything like that. It actually comes out really nice. And the semi-gloss gives it a really good layer of protection. The satin's good too. Satin and semi-gloss are the go-to. I've never had anybody that wanted it in gloss. So it's always semi-gloss or satin, and you never really, I would never recommend to ever do cabinets on a sheen anything lower than a satin, because the lower that you go with the sheen under a satin, like if you try a matte finish or a flat finish, I don't even think, technically you can't even get this paint in those sheens, but you wouldn't have very good luck with the durability of your cabinets if you did that. So try to stick between satin, semi-gloss, and we got semi-gloss going on this one. So looks really good. And you can see here, what the color is. So pretty soon I'll start putting those back together, and then it'll start coming back to life here. So I'm gonna wrap this up with some tape real quick, just to try to make it as least frustrating on myself as possible. Definitely don't want to be picking fibers out of the paint all day. So, and I lost the end of the tape. All right. There we go. Some fibers came off. Oh yeah, there's some on there. So that should be good. Got that. Got my brush. Okay. Painter's best friend. Always have one of these in my hand. Always. Can't work without a wet rag. Alright. Everything's getting wet now. Alright. I'm going to start on the top, go to the left. One thing I don't want to do is get paint all over, splatter all over these while I'm doing the front of the boxes again. So I just tuck these up underneath, and I don't have to worry about it sprinkling on there. All right. You guys, never use the sink. Never use the kitchen sink. Maybe if you ask the homeowner, or the homeowner doesn't have anywhere for you to rinse anything out at, and they say, just do it in the sink. I say, no, I don't want to use your sink. And they say, no, just use the sink. Then I'll use the sink. But I'm just getting a bucket of water right now. But especially this is a black sink, I would never rinse any paint in that. That would be crazy. Luckily for me, they have a washout sink in the garage, so that's what I used. But yeah, that's another big thing when it comes to working in people's houses. Do not use their kitchen sink. Just don't do it. That's a good rule of thumb. I've done that before. That'll be the first time I did that. I thought this was the one that was here. Fail. What is this? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is bottom? Oh. I thought that was 1, 2, 3. Wrong door. There we are. Just gonna put this on these hinges now. Wrong door. Yeah, probably won't be able to do that. Need one. There we go. That one was being a biatch. Being a biatch. I bet you that's what was all over the cabinets that wasn't coming off. Grease. Somebody put grease in all these hinges and it was all over the doors. Like all over the doors. Don't grease your hinges, people. Don't put grease in your hinges. Don't grease your hinges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. It's like a nasty red grease too. It's not even like, it's like real actual grease. Like somebody took car grease and greased their cabinets with it. People do the strangest things. Alrighty. This one, I can't even see what I wrote. 1, 2, this should be 3, 4, what does it look like? That's 2, it's not 1, it's definitely 4. All right. Woo! La-di-da-di. All right, this is bottom. This is top. I talk to myself all day. Am I crazy? Oh. Keep myself on track. You guys believe I've been doing this all the way through from 2020, the start of 2020, all the way till now. I've been crawling around on everybody's kitchen floors, bathroom floors. Never got sick. Never got sick, people. Been crawling all around in people's houses. Hundreds of houses. Never got sick. La-di-da-di. La-di. All right. That's a big one. I'm gonna find that one. Right here. I know that's this one. I don't even have to look. Alrighty. And this one is top, and this one is bottom. I don't know why I don't have a magnetic bit right now. I thought it was. All right, so I'm just looking over the paperwork here, make sure I got everything I'm supposed to get, and I am finished. I have to come back, so I will be talking with them and scheduling to come back to do the check, but I'm pretty happy with this one. Came out pretty good, except for when I started prepping them, I started to realize that there was something greasy all over the doors, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I realized it when I started putting them back together, that somebody decided to put grease in all the hinges and got grease all over all the doors, and that was what was gumming up everywhere. I was up till 10 o'clock 2 nights in a row on this project, just sanding and scraping these doors down. That's how terrible it was. So it's probably not going to be the most perfect finish in the world. There's always going to be imperfections when it comes to painting cabinets, but the good thing is everything was done properly. Everything was done with the right materials. It's got primer, it's been sanded, it's all been cleaned. So the durability will be there. And that's another reason why I like to come back anyway. I'll be back in 4 weeks. And if there's any fine tuning that needs to be done, I can do it then. I mean, really, when it's brand new, the paint is so fresh anyway, you really need to let it dry up real good before you can really go to town sanding on it or anything. I mean, I had a door that I had to do some extra sanding to, and I had to put a little Bondo on it today. So there's going to be that spot. So I got the Bondo sanded down, and I got one coat of paint on it, but it's going to need a couple more coats to cover the Bondo because I didn't have any wood filler with me. I just used a little bit of Bondo. It was just a small spot, but the Bondo is red, so it takes extra coats to cover it. So other than that, I'm pretty happy with everything. The glass doors came out good. Nothing got broken, which is always good. Everything looks really good. The side, if you look here, where the cabinet meets the wall, they have a very rough, I caulked this and painted it and it still came out like that. This one I didn't actually do because I already figured out that I'm gonna have to come back. This one I did. You can see it looks a little bit better. Not very much better though. So the easiest way to fix this line right here is to, when I come back to do the touch-up, I'll run tape on the actual cabinet box because it'll be a flatter surface. And I'll go just over onto the cabinet just slightly and then paint with the wall paint instead of the cabinet paint. I'll be touching up the wall, and that will make a lot more, that'll straighten this line out like a perfect straight line. But you just can't do it with the cabinet paint. You've got to go back. I hardly ever have to do that, really. But if you look, this is how bad it is, where the wall meets the cabinets. So it's pretty bad. I've never seen them that rough before like that. This one I caulked and painted it. You can see the difference, but it's still not great. So that'll be on my list when I come back. I gotta touch up the wall around the cabinets. I gotta put another coat on that Bondo where I had to Bondo it, and that should be it. Whenever I come back for the touch-up or the check-over, I always open up all of the drawers and the doors, and I will hit all of these top parts again just to give them a nice, because this is a very high traffic area where everything's going to be coming in and out. And you know, the tops here where it can get anywhere where it can get scuffed, you know, where dishes are going to be coming in and out down here, you know, got to scuff all that. Or I'm sorry, I usually touch up all this and the tops of these. When I come back, I'll open it all up and just hit this top part one more time, just for good measure. I do that. But yeah, that's it. I'm out.